I'm Ryan Bauer, and this is my video race report for the Ed Sander Memorial Cross Men's 35 Plus B Race. After a pair of top 25 finishes last week, I had Super 8 points and therefore got my first ever call-up in a cross race. It was the third row, but it was still a call-up. As we got underway, I was blown away by the surge around me. I was a little slow to clip in, but I felt like I got left in the dust. Looking at the speedometer, the group was flying. I recovered a little, and heading in the grass, I was sitting about 10th or 12th place. This winding grass section after the start shows just how difficult the day was going to be. Normally these wouldn't be challenging curves, but with the wet conditions, you couldn't take anything for granted. I decided to try to hit all the Super 8 cross courses this year, and today gave me a good reason to be glad I did. I probably wouldn't have prioritized the Ed Sander Memorial Race, and I would have missed out on this great course. All of the Maverick courses place barriers near registration, but at the Ed Sander Memorial Race, they're in a beer tent. After the beer tent, we head down the hill into the muddy back 9 section of the course. This section starts with a little drop off the side of a hill, with a dismount and climb right back up. Then after just enough distance that you have to remount, we plunge down the same slope again and through a very muddy series of turns. This last drop off the hill is rideable, but on my practice lap I found I was faster running, so I jogged down the hill each time during the race. I also ran through this very muddy section a few times, but for some reason I decided to ride it here on this last lap. You can see how well that works with another racer running right by me. After I passed him back, I couldn't hold the corner, and down I went into the mud. From there, the course offers another ride or run decision as we snake our way over to the barrier at the bottom of the hill. After running to the top, riders have to put in even more work getting up and down this hillside a few times before heading over to the deep gravel section. This video makes the gravel section appear deceptively easy, but I was a happy man each time I made it through the pit without taking a tumble. You can see as I loop around this section that there were a few riders giving chase on the final lap as I head into the water garden section. This was a fun section of the course where I could usually recover a bit. The ground was solid enough, and the 90-degree turns were at least predictable. The biggest mistake I made this week was forgetting my mud tires. It rained all morning, and I realized halfway to the course that I hadn't thrown them into the trunk. By this point in the race, my tires were caked with mud. The mud on the course wasn't a deep sinking mud that's hard to pedal through, but you can see, especially as I turn onto the pavement, just how much mud I'm kicking off of my tires. The home stretch on this course is excruciatingly long. I knew that I was a few seconds behind the rider in front of me and didn't stand much chance of catching him, but I still had to sprint to ensure that I could stay ahead of the riders behind me. As I inched closer to the finish line and a lapped rider, the sun finally started to poke out from behind the clouds. I finished the race in 17th place, just inside the top 20 I was hoping for. Next up is a hot shower, and then to Cyclo-cross next week in Maryland.